Welcome to the Storytime Adventure for Adults video series. Today we will be reading Part 1, 800 BCE, pages 54 to 57 from Songs from the Depths by Meg Swanson. Sun over the horizon, I bask. I breathe in its rhythm to forget. Something had entered her waters. Amphitrite tilted her head back and watched as all the schools of fish suddenly froze and just hovered in the water, as though someone had paused all living things. Even the solitary shark had abandoned its stealthy glide to stare, without seeing into the depths of the ocean. Amphitrite narrowed her eyes. Whatever it was did not belong here. Time to go see what we've caught. Taking up her black mother-of-pearl scepter, Amphitrite pushed off toward the surface. She could taste the blood before she saw it. The salty water began to burn her gills with iron. Amphitrite paused in her ascent and looked toward the surface. Through the clear water there was a trail of rust that led up to a figure floating on the surface. There you are. Amphitrite continued slowly rising to the surface. After several feet, a feather floated down in front of her face. She plucked the feather out of the current and chewed the inside of her cheek. No, she thought, it can't be. Still studying the feather, Amphitrite let the salty water push her to the surface. Fish continued to remain paralyzed in the water. They got stuck in Amphitrite's twilight blue tentacles, while seahorses got tangled in her kelpy tresses. Amphitrite shook all the sea life free and tried to send them on their way so they wouldn't get caught in a wayward fisherman's net. When she broke the surface water, Amphitrite kept her distance from the floating figure. She kept only her eyes above the water and her body still so as not to alert her prey. Slowly the current guided the sea goddess around so that she could see with whom she was dealing. Well, well, she thought, grinning broadly, it seems that this humble servant has forgotten her place. Amphitrite swirled her tentacles to push her farther out of the water, and then she waited to be acknowledged. She was, after all, married to one of the most powerful gods. She deserved to be treated with respect. Impatiently, Amphitrite inspected her cuticles, one tentacle gently slapping the surface of the water. Zeus be damned. Hello? The intruder jerked in the water. My goddess. Sea-glass eyes met hurricane-gray ones. Amphitrite, my lady. Amphitrite held up a hand dismissively. Took you long enough. You are outside of the boundary, but you knew that. Agalope carefully treaded water and maintained wary eye contact with the Queen of the Sea. Yes, I know, but I had no choice. Amphitrite touched the head of her staff to the water and glided gently forward. Agalope instinctively backed away. What happened to you? Agalope sighed. Sibling squabbles. A squabble that left you bleeding in the sea, asking for certain death? Zeus, I'm glad they're not my sisters. Yeah. Agalope choked out a short laugh. Me too. Listen, please. I won't bother anybody. I just need to get to land. Amphitrite threw her head back and laughed. Won't bother anybody? You've already bothered me. Your singing has all but stopped the sea life from existing. I can't even imagine how Poseidon will react when he returns. And what about poor Demeter, whom you betrayed so completely? Amphitrite's smile turned into a sneer. She's been waiting for a reason to meet with you again. Agalope's sun-browned skin turned stark white. Well, she couldn't do much more to me. She turned in the water so that Amphitrite could see the source of the bleeding. Amphitrite gasped. You're mutilated. What happened? Agalope lay back in the water, ignoring the bite from the salt water in her wounds. We had a difference of opinion, and I was outvoted. A wave rose under Amphitrite, pushing her further out of the water. You will tell me the truth, or what? Agalope trilled, her fingers through the water. What could you possibly do to me? Swirling her staff in the water, Amphitrite rode a foamy wave over to where Agalope floated. She wrapped her tentacles around Agalope's arms and yanked Agalope from her repose. Amphitrite pressed the inky, purulescent spikes of her scepter under Agalope's chin. What could I do? I could... Agalope swallowed hard. My sisters have turned on me, and rightly so, I guess. I have been betrayed and exiled. Death would be welcome. Amphitrite's stormy eyes narrowed, the foaming waves keeping Amphitrite and Agalope aloft softened. You say you have been betrayed, and yet you will not offer up the offenders. Why? Because their betrayal is my true punishment. They are free of me, and I am lost to them. And still you braved the sea, knowing the punishment that awaited you. Amphitrite wondered what hand fate had in this chance meeting, and why it had been she, not Poseidon, who had noticed the change in the water. Are you sure the betrayal was so complete that you would not be welcomed back? My lady, they took my wings. I no longer have sisters, and nowhere to go. With all due respect, I don't see how it could be any less complete. This was Part 1, 800 BCE, pages 53 to 57 from Songs from the Desk by Meg Swanson. Next week we will continue reading from Part 1. If you can't wait until then to hear how the story goes, feel free to purchase the book at www.megswanson.me. Starting this month, visit www.reneeannhughes.com to enter our free raffle to win one of 4 prizes. All you have to do is submit your email address by June 30th for a chance to win. If you would like to contribute to these series, please feel free to become a patron on Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.